Yes, here we are once again, which of course means it's Wednesday at noon Eastern Time. It is time for the High Noon Hemp Show. Of course, we're live and video on demand on the Hemptations Beach Facebook page, the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and at Hemptations on Twitter. If you just want the podcast version of the show, you can do that as well. Just search the High Noon Hemp Show on Google Play, iHeartRadio, and the Podbean app. Just search it, and you will find us. And it's awesome. I'm Stoner Jesus. Of course, he is the man himself, booth high above the Hemptations in Sharonville, the hemp quarters, if you will. Beach, how are things this week in the world of Hemptations?
Things are going good, I guess. Hey, spring has sprung, summer's here. I don't know. It's still trying to make up its mind, but we'll be getting the hemp seeds in the ground real soon, I'm sure, if not already. That is full show indeed. But other than that, again, we're just kind of, doing our thing as always. It is true. I am beach. I am high above the store in Sharonville, what I call the hemp quarters. Planet Everywhere Productions, whatever. Here we are for another episode of the High Noon Hemp Show. It's Wednesday. It's high noon. We're here. The 172nd, if I'm reading my sheet correctly,
Wow.
episode. 172nd episode of the High Noon Hemp Show. It's just crazy. If you'd like to join me on the YouTube feed, that's where I watch the show. Is that vain? But I can also see your comments. If not, if you're on the Hemptations Beach page watching, you can comment and we will see that as always.
Indeed.
And, here we are doing it. So we'll jump right into the product spotlight. 4 from the store, 1 from my door, as I like to say. The first one is the Funky Nugs, the good old Funky Nugs Delta 8. Again, Delta 8's still making all the headlines everywhere out there in the world. I'd venture to say we've been carrying these for at least a year. I bet we've been carrying Funky Nugs probably longer. And so, again, none of this stuff is new to us. It's just new to everybody else. One way or another. And so, once again, those are Delta 8. And, guess what else we can sell now? We can sell hash. And, of course, we've been selling hash for a while. This is the IHL CBD hash. And I think it's funny because they say down there it's like 100% keef. And to me, all you do is you press keef to make it solid hash. And so it's like keef is just another name for... And keef, the term keef, I think, has come around semi-recently. And maybe what was originally somewhere in some country meant to describe the powdered resin of cannabis, which then could be pressed and made into hash. And so I think that's always been the process. It just now has a name. And so there you have it. CBD hash, if you want to get your CBD that way. Bonus comes with a little cigarette, one, which is, probably one of the most stealthiest smokable products. Smokables. I guess it would just be a smokable out there. When it comes right down to it, if you know that world, that's an essential part of the whole dugout, which we still sell a decent amount of dugouts. Still use it's a little box anyway to put your CBD flower in. You can do that.
That's right.
We can say that because we sell CBD flowers. So put your CBD flower in. Maybe I'll start doing some of those products in the product spotlight, which I haven't done before, really, is shown the smokables that can be used with the CBD or Delta 8 or whatever products that we have on the shelves, 100% legal to smoke. One way or another. For this product, you get both. You get some CBD and you get a smokable.
That's right.
You know, so how about that? Get yourself some CBD hash. Next product here we're going to jump to is when you want to light it safely, as the kids like to say, you use the ITEL hemp wick, or you use the hemp wick. Now, this is waxed hemp. And so what the kids do, or the modern people that don't want to inhale butane, is they light the hemp wick with the lighter, and then they light their smokable with the hemp wick. So it's believed to be a healthier choice. I don't, I mean, could be apples to oranges because you're burning something and then inhaling that smoke anyway. Maybe not as much. But, and again, I am in no way saying that butane is healthy, one way or another. And so there you have there's the old ITEL hemp wick when you want to light your CBD or Delta 8 or your whatever in your smokable. Use ITEL hemp wick. There you have it on the shelves at Hemptations. The last product that we are going to show here is actually, these are the Spacewalker Delta 10 gummies. So these are actually Delta 10. Again, as we're finding that we can make these extracts, get these extracts, produce these extracts from industrial hemp, 100% legal. We're finding, and again, I think that people are finding, and we're not getting all the feedback back. I know that Delta 8 is more, from what the customers tell me, more on the downside of things, on the calm side of things. I feel like when I used it, it did calm my stomach. And so, although, I'm not making any medical claims, I'm just telling you what our customers use it for, and what we're kind of finding out there. D10 is still kind of new. People are kind of working their way into that, so we're not getting a whole lot of feedback yet on really, how or why the customers are using the D10 stuff, as well as the HHC and THCO and all these other products that we're finding that we can illegally produce from industrial hemp, which makes them 100% legal one way or another. So there you have it. 4 from the store. Now the one from my door, we'll pop this first picture up here, and we'll let everybody take a look at it, and you can, give yourself a minute to kind of guess what you think maybe this was originally, what this was supposed to do. I think if you're below a certain age, you'll just be like, I have no idea what that held. If you're a certain age, you'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I see what that is. Again, this is probably 25 years old, made by Hempstead, the original Hempstead, I mind you. So if you're done guessing, this is a CD case. That's right, folks. When we actually carried CDs around, I think I shot you a picture of a CD in there. There it is. Yeah. So, probably held 10 CDs, little case to, carried around. And so now it's just kind of a cool little bag. Obviously, I could use for whatever I want. Ironically, I still have, because we have like at least 2 of the vehicles have 6 disc changers still. And so I just loaded up the Hondas are loaded up with CDs because I still have a whole wall of CDs, of ancient technology. just more ancient technology that I have acquired and collected over the years. You know, I mean, it's gonna, you know, it's right. Ironically, it's like right beside my old Atari, my rack of CDs.
Yeah, there's a lot of confused young people right now
That's right.
watching, listening.
Yeah. What's a CD? Is that some type of hemp product we don't know about? No, it's a disc, compact disc that contained music and or audio of any sorts.
And not a lot of music either, just like like an album's worth, or
Yeah,
or
no, that's right.
much would be.
Yeah.
But it was like 12 songs, best.
It's still stuck with the amount of music that you could put on a standard album, I suppose, back in the day. If you don't know what an album is,
Yeah.
it's that big black thing you flip over. It's got grooves in it. Have to have a needle to play it. You know, they made a comeback, and I think they're still around, honestly. So I think they're still making a comeback. But classic way of listening to music. Anyway, so there you have it. The one from my door, my old school CD holder made by the original Hempstead company. I found my original. I'll have to get a picture of that maybe for next week. My Hempstead laptop bag, just like this big. It's like 10 feet wide. You know, like. But even my laptop now is not. It's thin, but it's not still wide. So it's anyway is what it is. So the laptop bag is actually could still work for my laptop, even though I can't put this laptop in my other backpack. Just for everyone knows, if I need to, when I need to, it does fit in my hemp backpack that I carry every day, and have my latest hemp backpack I've probably been carrying every day for I don't know 3 to 5 years. I don't know. It's so long. I can't even imagine when I got it, but it's just now starting to come unhinged, just a little bit on the side, a little frayed. It's getting a little scared after all these years, but I still carry it every day with about 20 pounds worth of stuff that changes inadvertently. So that's it, as much as I can be. There you have it, folks, on the product spotlight here on the High Noon Hemp Show. I'm done rambling.
As you can see from the chest up, Beach doing a lot of blue today. Of course, it's that time of the show where I ask a very important question of Beach. I ask Beach various questions throughout the day, but none are more important than the one I'm about to ask, because the answer is very important too, and it leads very professionally in a broadcasting sense to the greatest segment in internet history, the Beachwear segment, when I ask, what are you wearing, Beach?
It's true. I'm black and blue. I don't know. I am a lot more black and blue these days. It does seem like I bruise quite easily, but you know, I guess I'm definitely showing some black and blue, as it may say. Probably all started with the shoes, because you can see. But on my head there, I've got a classic fair hemp, and I loved fair hemp hats. It's printed with the little hemp kind of Ford knockoff is what that kind of is, I think. And then I did decide to just go ahead and put on, because summer's getting close, to getting my hemp eyewear sunglasses out. So those are my sunglasses, are in fact made out of hemp. Hemptations University t-shirt, Young Maven, printed here at Planet Everywhere. As you can see in my pocket there of my Prana shorts. Now, you might notice, if you watch the show a lot, usually my pen is a much darker color. It even says Hemptations on it. This one, I decided to show that I carry every day on my backpack, but is actually now the 3D printed version, which is a much lighter color. And if you look at them closely, you can see how the difference is. The injection molded pen is very smooth. The 3D printed pen is just a little bit rough and a much lighter color. And so showing off my 3D printed Green Springs technology pen this week. Looking up there, I've got my Hempist briefs with my Hemp Traders no-shows. And then bringing it all together, were these black and blue Adidas Sambas that worked quite well when I want to be black and blue. Which again, if you look closely, I'm sure you can see some like bruises on my calves or knees or something. I bruise quite easily these days. So, if you are curious, what are you wearing, Beach? Now you know. Here on the High Noon Hemp Show. Dun 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 dun. Bump. All right, let's get on with some news here. There's some medical studies going on. I think again these are the first one. This study was showing that CBD may help with diabetes. Now there was, the one was with weight loss, which is obviously an issue. I know with diabetes, weight is an issue. We've talked about how hemp is a great food to add to your diet. You can eat, less hemp, feel more full, and get nutritional value. Once again, high in protein, omega-6, essential omega-3, essential fatty acids, a bunch of vitamins and minerals, and all kinds of good stuff when it comes to the nutritional value of hemp. And so that makes sense with the weight loss. But the study actually showed that it helped greatly in reducing the neuropathy. And neuropathy is a huge issue, normally treated with opiates because it's painful. I will personally say that recently someone super close to me has been having issues with neuropathy and been using CBD to help with it, and it helped them immensely. And so it doesn't surprise me that this study actually showed that CBD can help with neuropathy, therefore helping with probably the worst side effect that I know of, I guess, when it comes to diabetes. It sounds like, now I know that, there's different kinds of diabetes and they are different ways, but I feel like, once again, anytime that we can see something that may help people get off of opiates or opiate-based pharmaceuticals, that's a much better choice. And seeing that CBD might be able to help with that when it comes to, and then again, this was a study that showed that these people that used CBD, diabetic people that use CBD, it showed relief with their neuropathy. And so just more studies coming about. The next study that I found is kind of interesting because this is something that I can personally attest to, because it was GERD that sent me to the hospital that started my whole issues and got me on, track with my heart. If you don't know, GERD is kind of like heartburn, acid reflux. It affects the lower esophagus sphincter, and is kind of super irritating and not pleasant. I have learned to deal with it, and I did use, when it really did affect me at first. Of course, I thought, I'm gonna try these Zantac or whatever it is, and then it did show relief, but in the same sense, I wasn't going to do it every day. My GERD didn't affect me every day. It doesn't, it wasn't really brought on by food like heartburn is. It can be, but it's just a valve not really working properly, and can cause more issues. So anyway, this study found that it was in fact positive for treating GERD, CBD. Um, and once again, I think that one of the things that they talked about in the study was CBD's anti-inflammatory properties, and so I think that if that's caused by inflammation or anything, the valve not working correctly caused by inflammation, of course CBD would work. Again, I think with all the calming issues, it can even help with calming the gut. And if the gut is calm, then the GERD isn't as bad as well. So, there's a couple more studies out there. Once again, showing that, that we can see therapeutic value in CBD, and and there's two completely opposite spectrum of things going on in the body that we're seeing positive studies show positive results. More on that later in the news. We've got some pretty cool products coming out these weeks. This getting made, getting thrown around the internet, so to speak. We all know how much I love my shoes. Vans has always been a supporter of hemp fabric. They made some slip-ons back in the day, and some other Vans. Unfortunately, I never actually have I don't have a classic pair of Vans hemp shoes, which upsets me. But they've been using hemp in some of their lines for a while. This is this one's called the Mollusk Slip-On SF, and again, this is a project with a shop, I believe, out in California called Mollusk, I guess, that Vans and them kind of collaborated on. But they are available at vans.com. And so go there and purchase a pair of these, or possibly look into the Vans Eco Theory line. I think I sent a picture of these over. These are super fun. Now, this is just one version of the Eco Theory line of these. They have other, and again, the whole Eco line is 50% hemp, 50% cotton, I believe, if I saw. I didn't check the slip-ons to see if those were 50-50 as well. They may be. But hopefully they look like they might be more. I have to check the percentage on those slip-ons probably after the show when I'm buying a pair. We'll see how that goes. But good to see again. Go to vans.com. Just put in hemp, and this whole line pops up. They did have a t-shirt and a hat that popped up with this mollusk, the store design line, but I didn't get a chance to actually see, and I truly hope that they're at least using some hemp in those as well, because that would be cool to have some clothing out there, offer some clothing up with some hemp in it, as well as the shoes. So good job, Vans. Now this next one, this next hemp, this comes from a studio mom, actually, MOM, and it's the My Helmet. It's called My Helmet, and it's really, now the helmet itself is mostly mycelium. Okay, now I guess what they did was they mixed just a little bit of hemp flakes in with the mycelium for the helmet itself. Now, I definitely think that you could, go hemp fiber composite for a helmet pretty easily. But the straps are actually hemp straps, and so this was kind of fun. Now, I think this was over in Europe somewhere. I'm not positive this is even available yet. I think they were just kind of showing how they have designed this sustainable grown bike helmet. Kind of interesting how the straps go across the top, but that makes sense, and you don't have all those attachments in there too. And so that's kind of cool. Kind of cool. If you're looking for a bike helmet, look into that. Studio Mom, MOM. It's called the My Helmet. Again, not sure that it's available for purchase yet. I didn't get that far. But what a great idea to use a little bit of hemp. But to me, I just see now someone's going to develop an entirely basically hemp fiber / composite helmet that should be pretty strong and safe and light, too, which is a big deal, I would guess. And then if you're out there, wearing your bike helmet and your Adidas Vans, maybe you need a bag. Well, how about the Kodama? Kodama, I guess it is. I don't know how it's really pronounced. Kodama. Bold bag can be used as a good old-fashioned fanny pack. They call it a hip pack, but it can also be a sling, which is, I think what really happened to the fanny pack. The fanny pack actually evolved into the sling pack, and now they're both back. / fanny pack / sling bag. It's 5 pockets. They say it's waterproof, dust-proof, mud-proof, dirt-proof, all kinds of proof.
Wow.
They say that because it's 4 times stronger than cotton, which is true. It's knife resistant. I don't know if that, and so it's durable is really what they're saying, which is what you want in a bag that you are going to take out and traipse around town in, or traipse around the woods in, or whatever. Big enough to hold a decent sized camera if you have one of those, or a water bottle. And so I think it was 9 inches. So that's a decent length. Again, 5 pockets and a hidden pocket. Not to give away the secret, but you know how much I love my hidden pockets. This one's got one somewhere. You're going to have to go and find it, buy one, find out about that. Kodama is how I'm pronouncing it. I don't know if that's how they pronounce it in Colorado, but that's where they're getting made, I believe, in Colorado. So good for them. Hopefully they're using, and I didn't get that far either, Colorado-grown hemp fiber for that matter, which would be like super, super awesome. No doubt about that. All right. Well, I briefly talked about the Kansas State University cattle study. Now, the study was supposed to be originally done to see if giving CBD to cattle would contaminate their beef or milk. I don't know if that, I have yet to see the results of that. But I did find the official results of what we were talking about, what I was briefly talking about, which was that the study did find that it reduced the stress biomarkers in the cows that were only given 5. And I don't know if I read this right, because this just seems crazy to me. It was only 5 milligrams of CBD a day, which is a tiny amount for a full-size cow.
Yeah.
I mean, a tiny amount. Okay. But the study showed you can't, the study is not skewed in any way, because it did show that it reduced the stress biomarkers in the cattle that got the CBD, and also increased their lying time or laying time. Cows can't lie. I mean, maybe to each other,
We're filthy liars.
but
Well,
how much? But how much times the cows laid around, which meant that they were calm and content. Cows don't lay unless they are calm or content. I don't think. A lot like horses. Like that's why you really don't ever see horses laying around or cattle laying around because they're millions of years of instincts, or their instincts are always like you got to be alert, you got to be worried about some predators. You start laying around and all of a sudden some big cat's going to jump out of the woods and eat you. And so um, that's, and so again, tiny amount of CBD but showed a difference in these cattle. And so FDA still hasn't approved CBD, and neither is the Department of Agriculture, I should say. And it's really the Department of Agriculture that would make a difference here, in my opinion. If the Department of Agriculture would approve industrial hemp feed, grain, and or CBD as an additive, um, then you might see a lot more. I feel like if you were going to invest in antibiotics or hormones or any of those stuff that you really shouldn't give the beef or the cows that we're going to drink the milk from or whatever. Not that I do that because I don't drink dairy milk. I do eat beef on occasion, not a lot. But it's usually organic for that very reason because of the stuff that they give your typical over-the-counter cow and then chop it up and put it on the counters can't be good. And anyway, and baby cow, or adult cows don't even drink milk, and so why should humans? It's not good for the human body. Studies have proven that dairy milk is bad for the bones, causes osteoporosis. I'm just saying, look into it if you drink dairy milk. Drink hemp milk. I did see another article again. Why hemp milk? Is it that good? And then, of course, yes. Because again, it's just basically hemp seed and water, and then you can sweeten it if you want to. You can, do whatever you want, but that's really it. And so you're getting the nutritional value of the hemp seed, and your body will then make calcium from foods that you eat, the vegetables and whatnot. Okay, we don't want to get it from the milk. We want to get it from the food, actually. So just look into that for better bones in older age. It's true. That's why hemp milk can help. Hemp milk is just yet another substitute for something that they've been telling us so we should be doing on a daily basis that is not healthy for us. It's like that stupid. It's up there on the top of the pyramid chain. I bet still. I haven't checked it lately to see if the government has changed their food pyramid that we used to learn, back in the day. But not healthy. It was just in abundance and still is. So they keep trying to convince us that we need it. Just like I was talking about last week with corn. It's pretty much the same. All right, let's get on with it. Okay, here's yet another study on CBD, and I have talked about CBD and autism. I have one of my best friends' child is autistic and has been using CBD most of their lives to help with the side effects or the behavioral issues that come with autism. This study showed after 6.5 months of a low dose, and I don't know what that dose was again, but a low dose, um, you know, and so a low dose of CBD showed 32% decrease in behavioral problems. 22.5% began using more expressive language. And I have an email I got probably, I don't know, it's 7 years ago, 7 years ago at least, that said that their autistic child started talking after they started getting it. I'm sorry that I'm kind of tearing up here a little bit, but I think about this and about people that can be used and all the negative things that people say about CBD and whatever. And how, again, there's more proof of this, but the parents came to me and they thanked me personally for having CBD, because once they found that right dose for their child, it changed their lives and he began speaking. And so,
Wow.
it's the studies don't surprise me at all. I'm just glad, once again, and I've been saying this for probably the 2 years of the show, the more these studies can be done to prove these things, the much better off we are, and that the parents can help their children and not feel like they're doing something bad or whatever. And because cannabis is, no matter if it's industrial hemp or CBD is still, it's like scoffed at kind of half, and I get it. We had the boom, and I remember the how true it was that I found this thing that the major side effect of using CBD was telling everyone that you were using CBD, and it's true. And then COVID kind of hit, and kind of things went, isolated more. But it's still so true that there are a lot of people that can be helped and need this, over the counter natural substance. And not to be screwed by the pharmaceutical companies and keeping the kids on drugs and being on drugs as adults that we don't need, that aren't as good for the body as something more natural. That's for sure. So anyway, there we have it. Proof. And then it did say that 12.9 showed improved cognition. And so once again, I don't care if it's 1%. Well, 1% you can say, well, you can have a plus or minus of whatever 2%. So if it's 3% or more, then it's helping. But 32%, that's 1 out of every 3 kids.
Yeah,
showed a decrease in behavioral problems. 22% is 1 out of every 5 kids. If 1 out of every 5 kids starts talking and expressing themselves more, then why would you not try it for your autistic child? And again, I think there's a right balance there. Too much, too little, and again, working that out to find what really works properly. But more proof that it can help, no doubt. It has great therapeutic value. Elle Magazine article: 5 breathable summer fabrics. Beyond cotton. 5 breathable summer fabrics beyond cotton to beat the heat. Number 1, you guessed it, hemp. The reasons why, I'll say it again. Hemp fiber is antimicrobial, antibacterial. It's all the good antis you want. It's durable. Specifically, they say that it has a high breathability. It has a high absorbency. And this is more. And I should have. They did find a dress. I think it was from a Facebook picture. But like a linen kind of spring weight, a very lightweight hemp fiber is what they're talking about. They're not talking about your traditional burlap heavy weave. They're talking about a thinner weave. Has all these great properties So, why, once again, wouldn't you want your nice spring dress to be made out of hemp instead of cotton, which is full of chemicals and blah, it's awful. It's just awful. It's not even use on. It's inferior. It's inferior to hemp. Why would you do that? Ladies, go find yourself some. I don't know why I said ladies. I mean, there's guys too. Find yourself some. Again, I think it's easier. It's almost easier for guys now, I think, to find like hemp shorts, hemp t-shirts made out of hemp. Girls' fashion, women's fashion is, it's a whole different ball game, and so I think it's harder to even for people to want to jump into. As if we could just get everybody to just switch to hemp, that would be great. But picking styles and cuts and things. It's a lot more difficult when it comes to women's clothing. There's just no doubt about it. That's the industry itself. That's the market that they've built. And so us guys, for the most part, are pretty simple. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just it's a whole market thing. And it's just, it's just one of those things. It's built on a market, and the market exists. And again, I've said it before. The fashion industry doesn't have anything to do with the average person that goes and buys their own clothing. Yeah, they produce clothes that don't, are untouchable by the average person. So anyway, here is one last cool. This is a paper company. It's Mohawk. I think it's paper company Mohawk. That's them. They're making hemp paper, and they're also what they're doing is they're mixing it, I believe, with recycled cotton. So I feel like at least if you have cotton stuff, you have an outlet to recycle it. One way or another. But what I think is interesting too, and I have a guess, and I don't know positively because again it could be Cleveland, but I think that where they process the cotton for this Mohawk paper company. Again, it's probably, I wonder if it's even around Mohawk. I think there's a Mohawk, Ohio or something, but Lima, I know Lima was a huge paper making area for a long time. And if you don't know, Lima is kind of in the middle west in Ohio. So, it's up, but kind of on closer to Indiana, up in the state. But there was a hemp paper making company there up until industrial hemp was made illegal in the United States. And there, I think I'm going to now look in. Mohawk sounds like a paper company that I've heard of almost. And so I don't know if that's true or not, if it's really like this like huge paper company finally releasing. I think they said they had 18 different, and again, I don't know if it's a big or small company, and they only have 18 different papers made with hemp and whatnot, or it's a huge company and this is just a new line. And so I have to do a little bit more looking into Mohawk. But I think that's it's a great reuse of or recycling of cotton, I suppose. I hate to feel like anything cotton goes to the landfill after it's done so much destruction already. And again, it'll break down pretty quickly. I'm not saying it won't. But even all the chemicals that are used on it, the microfibers and all that stuff, it's just, it is what it is. Although I suppose by the time your cotton t-shirt or cotton jeans make it to the landfill, you've washed them enough that there's worn all the chemicals and crap that it took to make it out.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's why we want to replace hemp fiber with just about anything we can. No herbicides, no pesticides, sustainable, It's the strongest natural fiber on the planet. I don't know how many times I can say that. And to me, it's just so amazing. It's just so amazing that no one pays attention to that. I mean, it's proven to be at least 4 times stronger than the most popular fiber used in clothing today. And yet, hardly anyone uses it. And that's just absurd. That is just, once again, the convenience of destruction and consumerism and capitalism and them deciding basically that we're going to sell you this inferior product that's destroying the planet and refuse to use this superior product that can help the planet, and we'd have even a better reputation as far as what we were giving you as a, you know what I mean? I just I get it. You know, they want the crappier stuff so that you throw it away and you go buy new.
Mm-hmm.
If all the clothing that we wore that was made out of industrial hemp, or even 55%, like if all the shirts were 55-45, if we just even crossed over there, we could still have their dirty cotton industry. I suppose the planet would still be so much better. The product you offered your customers would be of durability. Maybe they wouldn't buy as much, but you still have a whole new market. You have every single person on the planet. That's Young Maven. Young Maven's whole goal way back then and still now is a hemp t-shirt for everyone on the planet, which is a great goal. If we could just replace one cotton t-shirt all over the planet with one hemp t-shirt for everybody, that would just help the planet just breathe a little sigh of relief just right there. We start doing that more and more and more, and all of a sudden the planet's healthy, our stuff's lasting longer, it's more durable, we're getting more for our money, as we should as consumers. Then yay. That's the goal. That's what we're looking for, folks. That's what we're looking for. More paper companies, more clothing companies, more hemp fiber in BMW doors, whatever it might or may not be. But clothing for sure, Again, if you watch the show enough, you know that the main reason I wanted to sell hemp stuff was the fiber part of it 25 years ago, 30 years ago, when I was learning about hemp. That was the biggest thing, was the whole clothing, the fiber thing. And it's still absurd today to sit here and say that, and we're still using the fiber of a plant that uses 1/3 of all the chemicals for any agricultural crop, as opposed to the one fiber that uses no chemicals, not as much water to process. That's another thing I didn't even mention about cotton. I mean, the amount of water it takes supposedly to make a hemp or a cotton t-shirt is absurd. Once again, just absurd. So we save on that, and hemp is 4 times stronger per average. And again, I'm sure there's some variance there as to how the fiber was grown, how strong a crop it was. I don't know. My understanding is the finest industrial hemp fiber for clothing is grown in Italy. So, there are particular cultivars that have existed for hundreds of years, for growing, obviously for fiber, because that's where it all started. And now, it's the same. If you want to grow for fiber, there are specific cultivars for that. So do that. Support that. buy next time you need a shirt, next time you need some shoes, next time you need anything, try to find it made out of hemp first. It's about all we can ask, and all I've been asking for the last 25, 26 years. And I'm going to continue to ask until you're all sick of me or everything's made out of hemp. It's one of the two. Get over it. Oh, we got some events going on. A couple days here. We got the Kentucky, May 20th, the Kentucky Hemp Association annual conference and trade show. This is at Sullivan University in Louisville, or Louisville, or Louisville, or Louisville. I can do all five. That was four. I'm forgetting one. May 27th, May 30th, you have Hemp Aid at the Rainbow Farms in Vandalia, Michigan. How fun does that sound? June 4th, Hempcrete Hemp Trials and Nutrient Management Consideration at the mighty Thundercloud Edible Forest in Bird's Nest, Virginia. It's June 4th. Bird's Nest, Virginia. All kinds of stuff going on there. June 17th, June 18th, personal favorite of mine, Hemp in the Holler down in Mount Vernon. Personal friends of mine. Just to drop names. No. It's at the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame, which I think is really cool. So you're getting, to me, not only are you obviously getting the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame and museum to get, but you're going to be surrounded by hemp and hemp knowledge and hemp products and all things hemp at Hemp in the Holler, and a beautiful part of the country. There's not much else there. In fact, there isn't anything else there. In Mount Vernon, beautiful country. Kentucky Music Hall of Fame and Museum. Hemp in the Holler.
There you go.
There you go. Indeed. No doubt about it. Finishing up in June 24th, 26th, you got the Southern Atlantic Hemp and Arts Expo, Fletcher, North Carolina. So you got plenty of time to plan for that if you so desire. All right, there you have it, folks. Thanks, everybody, for watching today's High Noon Hemp Show. We always appreciate it. If you're watching later, I thank you then as I thank you now. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having Hemptations.
See you all next week.